Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims info/thoughts video. So I was not expecting to be making another pets related info/thoughts this soon, but yeah, here I am doing just that. Although unfortunately the reasons are not that positive. So thanks to this Slovakian retailer, we have a listing for a new Sims 4 expansion pack. I'm not gonna even bother trying to say the Slovakian name because I know I'm gonna mess that up really badly. But the translation for that title is The Sims 4 Dogs and Cats. Not only that, but they also list a November 9th release date. Unfortunately, yeah, it's formatted differently over there with the dates. So the month actually comes second instead of first. So it's not September 11th. Alright, so there's basically two main topics to go over here. The release date and whether I think this is legit, and Cats and Dogs, the title. So I'm gonna start off with the release date, and just, what? Really? Yes, I do think this is legit, because if it was something like the 31st, the 30th or the 31st of a month, then that would have more likely just been a placeholder. I've seen that for other games in the past, even for like Sonic Mania as a recent example, but now that game actually does have an officially confirmed release date. But yeah, if it was like November 31st or December 31st being the very end of the year, then I'd be much less likely to believe it. But November 9th falls on a Thursday this year, so the North American release date is probably the 7th, on the Tuesday of that week. So all in all, this looks pretty believable to me, and I just gotta say, what are they doing? Like, oh my gosh, City Living came out on November 1st last year, so that's just a little bit over a year's wait for an expansion pack that heavily implies is only gonna have cats and dogs. Just, oh my goodness, I can't just say this is perfectly acceptable, even though we don't know much about the expansion yet. It's just like, no, come on. We can't keep doing this one expansion pack a year thing. I mean, it's great that we're getting game packs more often, but I don't think 2 or 3 game packs a year necessarily fulfills the whole one part of the 2 expansion pack a year thing that used to happen before. Don't get me wrong, I've liked each and every game pack so far, but the expansion packs are still what really drives the game forward, and I don't think it's fair to make us wait a whole year for that. I mean, even with City Living, it had some pretty notable shortcomings, like us not being able to build our own apartments in other worlds, and the elevators basically being teleporters. Not even any animation whatsoever, just literally a teleporter. So yeah, I honestly don't trust the expansion pack team that much at this point. At this point, I've been more consistently satisfied with what the game pack team has been bringing out. Although I still don't think it would be best for the cats and dogs to be in their own game packs, because just imagine how painful that wait would be. I think that would actually be worse to have, like, cats in one game pack and then dogs in another one, like, 5 or 6 months later. And I know the Sim Gurus love to say that they're doing things differently with The Sims 4 than the past Sims games, but even if The Sims 4 was the very first Sims game, I still don't think one expansion pack a year is right. Apart from bugs being fixed more quickly and more game updates that have features in them, I think I'm actually starting to miss how they did things back in the old days, when they would announce content sooner and just market the game a little bit better, and also just the expansion packs not taking forever to come out. Like, at this rate, I feel like I'm gonna need a vampire to bite me, or find the Chaos Emeralds or something, because it's just like, if I want to see pets as I expect them, with small pets and horses, and seasons, and farming, and university, and a tropical island vacation destination, and all the things that I want to see in The Sims 4, I'm basically gonna need to be like immortal or invincible in order to see those things happen, because yeah, like the wait for all of those things is looking to be absurdly long, even for a Sims game. And then of course, eventually The Sims 5 has to come out. Like, I think The Sims 5 is inevitable. The Sims 4 has been selling really well despite all the criticism it's had. So then it's like, we're gonna wait ages and ages for all the things that we want. Just the things we want, not even like new stuff, just at least getting the stuff that we want back, and then it's like, oh, alright, The Sims 5, well, time to begin that cycle all over again, and wait many years for pets and seasons and all the things that we want to come back again. It's just, ugh. This cycle is starting to get really terrible, and I really hope that it breaks at some point. I really hope that eventually they do start to kind of like put more things in the base game, or not take as long to put things back, because it's not like they're firing every single employee who's worked on the current Sims game before a new one. Like, a lot of people have stuck around since like The Sims 1 or The Sims 2, so it's not like it's the first time they're doing things. But let's also talk about the title, Dogs and Cats. So, for one thing, I'm actually kind of glad they're not calling it just Pets yet again, because every expansion pack for The Sims so far has been called Pets, except for Unleashed for The Sims 1. So, at least it has that going for it, but like I said a bit earlier, Dogs and Cats heavily implies that the expansion pack is quite literally going to be only that. No small pets, no horses, just cats and dogs, and yeah, that doesn't sound too good to me. I mean, I've already talked at length about how I actually wouldn't mind too much if horses got their own game pack or expansion pack, along with like farming or something. But for small pets, I think that's crossing the line when it comes to like splitting up content to try and give it more detail in its own pack. I don't think that's necessary for small pets, because with small pets, so far, they've mainly been, like, visual effects with maybe 1 or 2 interactions, and I honestly don't think they really need to be much more than that. I think it is more important to have, like, cats and dogs be as well done as they can, and small pets, yeah, like, I don't see it being a horrible thing for them to be a side feature of a cats and dogs expansion pack. If they really do give small pets and pet shops their own game pack, well then that means we're gonna be charged $40 for cats and dogs, $20 for small pets and pet shops, and then probably another $20 for horses. $40 if horses end up being in an expansion pack. Although at least it'll be kind of slightly justified, because it probably won't be only about horses. There'll probably be farms or something else with it. But yeah, that's a lot of money if you want all of those things, for sure. And then with The Sims 3, you got all of that in one expansion pack, basically. And yeah, I know each of those things can be given more detail if they're separated into packs, but like I've said, especially with small pets, I think that's unnecessary and crossing the line. I mean, so far, like I've said before, with vampires, I think that was an example of it done right, where vampires getting their own special treatment in their own pack really worked in our favor, where we've had what I think is by far the best vampires we've had in The Sims. But when it comes to bowling night stuff, I don't think we needed a whole stuff pack just for bowling. I think it should have been more of a date night stuff pack where we would have had like at least one other small gameplay object, like a claw machine or a pinball machine or something alongside the bowling. And why bowling? I'm confused about that too, because there's other sports they could have picked for a stuff pack too. Like, they could have made a stuff pack focusing on the soccer net and have a soccer skill for that. Or they could have brought in tennis, or maybe like volleyball. So, I don't know, that seems kind of odd to me. I'd love to know why they chose bowling over like those other things. I guess bowling night stuff doesn't completely eliminate the chances of those stuff packs happening, but I think it does reduce the chances quite a lot. All in all, I think something really needs to change majorly behind the scenes at Maxis. The one thing they seem to be doing correctly now is focusing more on the family play that a lot of us really love. But yeah, it just seems to be just this huge issue with just getting things right, especially with the expansion packs, and even when they're given a whole year, it still doesn't pan out right. It's just like, it's really frustrating. And on top of that, I feel like things are just going around in circles. We're just stuck talking about the same things because it takes forever for things to come out. Like with how we want pets and seasons and all the comments on every trailer being like, oh my gosh, where are the pets? Even when it came to like Parenthood, when that was announced, I still so many comments that were just like, okay, but where are the pets? And where are seasons? And oh, cars, they don't work in an open world because this reason, and I feel like I have to make that same argument defending them over and over again. Same thing with horses and how I think they would work in an open world, and just people again saying, no, horses, they don't work in open worlds. I mean, it's fine if you have a different opinion, but I'm getting tired of making the same arguments over and over and over again, and it feels like it's just never gonna end. The only thing that has really changed things recently, I think, was toddlers finally coming. So at least we don't have to debate as to whether toddlers are even coming to the game anymore. But other than that, like, I just wish we could really get pets and seasons back. Not only just because, yeah, it's been aggravating waiting for them, and having those 2 expansion packs would really change up the game for the better, but I want to talk about new stuff. I want to talk about new stuff, not just always the same old debates on what old features we want back and whether they'd work in an open world or not. I know it does take a long time to make a good video game, but I really think this is getting to points of just plain unacceptable. And for me personally, the wait is actually putting a damper on my excitement. I think I actually would have been more excited for toddlers if they had come about a year earlier. And that wraps up another Sims info/thoughts video. Or I guess, in this case, it was more of a Sims info/rant, but that's how it is here on this channel. I'm not going to be sunshines and rainbows all the time. If there's something I'm not pleased about, I definitely will be honest and express my opinions on that too, not just the happy stuff. So I'm sorry if you didn't like how this video turned out, but just like I express my positivity when I really like something, I'm also going to give negative criticism when I really don't like something. And it all comes from a place of trying to be optimistic and wanting The Sims 4 to be the best Sims game ever. Like, I'm not just trying to troll the internet and be like, oh yeah, The Sims 4 sucks. The Sims 4 sucks and it'll always be like the worst Sims game ever and there's no changing that. No, like, I actually don't think The Sims 4 is the worst Sims game, but I definitely think there's so much room for improvement, and I don't think it's wrong to hope for better. Like, I know they've talked about limitations with budget before, and that they only have one team working on the expansion packs for The Sims 4 in comparison to what they did with the latter half of The Sims 3, but still, like, I want things to be better. Just because things were a certain way in the past, that doesn't mean that I should hope for things to always be the same, right? And feel free in the comment section below to let me know what you think as well. But please try to be as civil as you can. I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed by this news, but please try and be polite to each other. Even if you don't necessarily share the same point of view, it is possible to have a civil discussion without throwing insults at each other, so that would definitely be a nice thing to do, for sure, even if it's not the easiest thing to do. But I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!